Hey everybody, Alex Goff here. Another good week in D1A Rugby. In fact, actually, this was kind of a fun week. Some interesting things going on and some big plays. We get right into it really with Cal State Long Beach against Sacramento State. So Sac State won their first D1A game ever a couple of weeks ago. Cal State Long Beach, very young, but improving and struggling with some wins so far. But this was kind of an interesting one. So have a look. First of all, Long Beach gets started really strong early on. Jojo Nuez, the center, just bursting onto the ball. Really nice line. He almost gets over, doesn't quite get there, and prop George Beattie is going to pick up, and he's going to strong arm his way over for an early try. A couple of early tries for Cal State Long Beach. He started really well. That was good. But Sac State had some skill to show, and really nice setup here from Jace Weatherby to wing Charles Thomas, and have a look at the sidestep on this young man, and really good finish as well. Just puts his ears back. Another one from Sac State. Fullback Nick Fontanilla, chip kick, really good chip kick. He follows it up with this. Look at the hit. Your hands around the ball. You're sort of like around it, picking it up, and somebody smashes you. I don't have a problem with that. Anyway, ball's loose. Great support. Jaden Thomas comes in the lock. Worked hard to get there and score it. They seem to be pretty happy about that one. Sac State seems to be sort of taking some control. Are they going to come back after those early scores they gave up and win it? We don't know. But they do unleash Charles Thomas again for another one. And, back comes the sidestep and the pace. What Long Beach State brought was physicality, on defensive play as well, as they were driving players back, but it was also in tight playing, whether it was backs or forwards. They're surrounded by people, they didn't really care, and they just powered on. Pocket is picked by Ethan Moxley, and he goes steaming along. He needs a little of help, and Wes is right there. Boy, he when he goes, doesn't he? And he's in there. Love the offload and the finish. Powered on. So it ended up being a win for Cal State Long Beach, and nice one for them, and a little piece of confidence, I think. Moving on, Utah hosts Utah Valley. And if you didn't know, University of Utah campus is kind of up in the foothills of the Wasatch Mountains, which are right there on top of Salt Lake City. So you sort of go uphill to deal with it. And the rugby field, therefore, is at a higher altitude than most of the buildings most of Salt Lake City. As you can see, clouds, snow. You go up a couple of 100 feet in Salt Lake City this time of year, it gets a lot colder. Anyway, just good work here. Utah getting in close, and everyone's kind of worried about the big guys punching it in, I think, and that's really good vision to then see, hey, we've got some space out wide, and Karsten McElrath gets that catch pass, very nice, sets it up on the wing. I think that's Isaac Dameyer actually going in and finishing it off. A good try and a good win for Utah as they've been struggling a bit. So next up, team that's not been struggling at all would be Cal Poly. Coach one time said, didn't really feel like they'd given up so many points against Cal Poly, and somehow they lost by 90 or whatever it was. And that's kind of because they finished so well and they're so aggressive. Now, what you'll see here in these highlights, and you'll see in the St. Mary's highlights coming along as well, is that every time somebody gets the ball, their immediate move is an attacking step. And it's no surprise, right? These two teams are coached by brothers, Chris and Tim O'Brien, both former Eagles. They both have sort of similar approach to the game, which is we're attacking at all times. What that allows is for players to pass for the man instead of to the man, so we don't get a lot of flat-footed catch and pass. And once they start, everybody expects that. Well, you see them play an attack going forward every time, and that's what we've got here. Everyone's thinking about attacking. The numbers aren't easy to read. So we'll just sort of say, look, they're attacking all the time. I think Timmy Miranda is probably in there. He scored 5 tries in this game, and Dean Hall scored 3. So they won fairly comfortably over UC Santa Cruz. But really it's about the fact that Cal Poly is thinking attack, go, challenge defenders all the time. This video is brought to you by Next Phase Rugby, which is an app that allows high school rugby players to connect with college rugby programs around the country. Those programs can be school supported, club, all kinds of different ones. 450 are already on the app, and thousands of collegiate hopefuls are also on the app. Download the app if you're a college, or if you are a high school player looking for a college, go to nextphaserugby.com. There's a discount code for the premium level for high school players at the bottom of the screen. And good luck with your college search. It's also brought to you by USA Rugby Foundation, which is an organization that supports grassroots rugby around the country, and your donation can help build this great game of ours. Also brought to you by Irish Rugby Tours. Touring is a great way to expose your players to the global nature of rugby. Go to Irish Rugby Tours. They don't just do Ireland. They do all kinds of different countries: Spain, Portugal, New Zealand, South Africa, the UK. That's just a smattering of what they can do for you. Go to irishrugbytours.com. And this video is also brought to you by Panther Rugby Academy, providing elite playing and training opportunities for players throughout the South and a more extended version of the South. Panther Rugby Academy, check them out. And I also want to thank a new kit provider, which is 8x8 Sports. You can't see their logo on this shirt, although you can see it on others, but there's the back of the same shirt because I have more than one. And several other great kit. We'll be having merchandise available very soon as well, so I'm excited about that. Thanks to 8x8 Sports. It's 8x8sports.com. So let's have a look at St. Mary's. They took on Santa Clara. And we'll start with the scrum in their own end, and Gales, in here they are a little bit static. They'll take the hit and move it, and then some good work from CSI Pongi and also Rocco Poole, and they get it out to Namayapua, and he sets up the rock, and good work from Poole and also Joseph Manzoni to win that rock. And now it's lock Enzo Filippetto and a little wild offload. This is the thing about St. Mary's. They don't panic, the ball's bouncing around. It's all right. Let's just contain it and move it on. They move it wide. Poole again involved. He gets around, and he's the link of, I think, Ethan Younger actually strolling over in the end. I mean, he's just sort of calmly touching it down. That's a try. So that's one. And remember that St. Mary's has a reputation as a strong scrummaging side as well. Andrew Cook, their scrummaging coach, their forwards coach, and he learned pretty much everything he knows from Johnny Everett. They did such a good job there, and they're continually good. And here they win a tight head, and now you've got the worst of both worlds. You've got backpedaling because it's a strong scrummaging team, and also it's you're giving ball to one of the best transition teams in the nation, and the ball goes wide, and look at this sick offload from Pongi to Isaki Tukuafu and back to Pongi, and then Nico Jimenez in at the corner, and that just a great example of St. Mary's rugby. They go on to win relatively comfortably. Tougher games coming actually this coming weekend to see what they do. Cal beat UCLA 36-7 in Berkeley, and the Bears have a lot of weapons. One of them, fly half ran Santos, and UCLA was shorthanded at this point with a yellow card. I guess the gap was right in front of him. Pivots off his left foot, and he is gone. You can't just expect fly half to pass it all the time. Santos in, great try for him. And then Cal's pretty gritty as well, and they were able to stop some of the things that have been working really well for UCLA, namely their tap move, where they just send a bunch of people in there to basically form a maul and drive it over, and kind of a little bit like the brotherly shove, but not really even get caught up in that. And also their maul, their line out and maul is very good. UCLA, Cal did very well to stop that, and you see that they fight for that defensively. And the Bruins, some of their struggles, they struggled in the line out, and that hurt them. And we've got loose head prop Tom Dixon actually going up and stealing it, by the way, although he's played lock before as well. Byron Finley rescues it, and then they spin it wide. Max Threlkeld and Oliver Newell work to set up young Emmett Cook in the wing, who was a fly half fullback for Gonzaga. So, he's got some other position to play maybe. He's in for the try. Newell and Threlkeld, they combine on this one as well. Nice little loop move. And then UCLA does score at the end. They get it over with their forwards. They look good doing that. But I think they wanted those earlier chances as well, and a little bit frustrated for them. 36-7, probably close. It felt closer in certain ways. And then, finally, a slightly more dramatic game, maybe. Mount St. Mary's took on Lindenwood in Knoxville, Tennessee, at the campus of University of Tennessee. They also, Tennessee fielded their side against Lindenwood's second side. Lindenwood won that one. Mount's problem was playing too much in their own end, and there's an example right here. It kind of backfires on them. They're trying to run it out. The ball's a little bit loose. They try to keep it in play. Well, that's a pressure try in the corner for Lindenwood, and you can't afford to give those away, can you? Mount did ask questions of the Lindenwood defense, and while they weren't really threatening the try line early, they did get some penalties. Evan Corbett, who hadn't trained for 2 weeks because he'd been suffering from the flu, not the only player on the team that had been felled by that, but anyway, he comes in and he's outstanding with the boot, just fantastic. This is from long range. He ends up kicking 4, all of them really from long range, all of them very, very valuable. And it was smart for them to choose to go for points at this, and not just panic too much about the fact that they were giving up tries to Lindenwood. Lindenwood is having a little bit of fun though. Moving the ball around, quick sequence of passes. Duncan Krieger goes in for the try. They end up building a 24-6 lead. Mount claws back. Couple of penalties from Corbett. And then this really nice finish from Kiahi Horan in the corner gets them over the try line, finally. So that ends up making it 24-17. And then there's another one. And this interception with the conversion makes it a tie ball game, 24-24 with 14 minutes to go. That's a lot of people are talking about it during the day. It's one of those things when I'm doing my reporting and suddenly somebody will text me and say, "Are you watching this game?" That sort of thing happens when there's like, "Hey, this could happen." But Lindenwood, deep bench for one thing, and also they just settle down a little bit. They don't panic. They're going to score 3 tries in the final 13 minutes or so to put it away. This one coming out of their own end, David Cathcart, he goes the distance. That's an impressive one. And they do score another one after this. And then they unleash this little piece of rugby art. It's a very nice try. David Scanlon gets them started with the line out. And then there's just a lot of passing and offloading and great support work. The guy who finishes it off, in fact, is Scanlon, who got on his horse and chased it all down. So very well done for him, and that seals it 45-24. Very close for a while, but finally put away by Lindenwood. So it was a good weekend. A really good weekend. Now what? Well, coming up this week, just this week, Cal Poly plays Central Washington. Cal plays University of British Columbia. Life and Lindenwood renew acquaintances. Penn State against Mary Washington. St. Mary's versus BYU. So that's 5 really pretty excellent games to look forward to. Right now we are seeing some teams bubble to the top, but I think for me, partly the important thing is to see the teams that maybe have struggled against the upper echelon turn around and say, okay, we know what the standard is now. Let's work on it. We don't have any wins. Let's try and win a game. Or, we're not scoring. Let's try and score this and just work their way up. You're not going to get any better if you just play teams that make you feel good about yourself. So some good performances from the middle teams right now, but again, I've been saying it all year. Watch out for Cal Poly. I think they're improved. And at the top right now, Cal looks very good, and part of that is because on the East Coast we're not quite sure. It's not that nobody's good. It's just like Life beat Navy, and Life lost a game that maybe they shouldn't have won and shouldn't have lost. Sorry. And Lindenwood's lurking right there, and Army's lurking right there. So I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the East. We don't know whether Cal is the very top right now in the West. Right now it's looking like it, but who knows, because the Gales can often find their number. Central Washington, we haven't seen a lot from them because of a game that was called off because of weather, and BYU, you don't know. A veteran BYU side. So that's it. Thanks for our sponsors and our Patreon patrons and our anonymous patrons.